boys and girls, we've been doing a lot of work with numbers, and this week we started learning two new numbers. Do you remember what this number is? That's the number 15. Remember, 15 is a 1 and a 5, and the 16 is a 1 and a 6. Now, we're going to go back to this in a second. Let's just go over all of our numbers so far. Okay, do you remember that one? That's 1. What is this one? 4. 2. Remember this one here? That's a 10. We have a 1 and a 0. That's the number 10. You remember this number? 0. What about this one? That's the number 3. Do you remember this one? The opening on the bottom? That's the number 6. 8. Remember that one? That's the number 5. And here's the one with the opening on the top. Remember that number? That's a 9. And here we have number 7. And this is 11 and 12. Okay. And what about this one? Do you remember this number here? That's the number 13. 13 is a 1 and a 3. And we did this one. What is this number? That's 14. 14 is a 1 and a 4. And this week we started this number here. Remember what this number is? That's number 15. 15 is a 1 and a 5 together. Let's count the mushrooms. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So here's the number 15. Okay, we're going to go back to 16 in a second. So for the number 15, we have this paper here, and we're going to do a number search. If you have a daughter, you can dot the number 15. If you don't have a daughter, you can just circle it with a crayon. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our daughter or your crayon, and we're going to look for the number 15. Okay, remember 15 is a 1 and a 5. So let's go across the top row together. Is that a 15? Yes, put a mark on that. Do you remember that number? That's number 11. Should we put a dot on it? No. How about this one? It's a 1 and a 5. That's number 15. Okay, and is this a 15? No, that's a 1 and an 8. Okay, we didn't get to that one yet. We'll do that next week. Remember that number? That's a 12. It's a 1 and a 2. Should we put a mark on it? No. Come down to the next row. Do you remember this number? That's number 13. Should we mark it? And this one? That's a 15. Okay, it's a 1 and a 5, so let's put a mark on there. And this one? You remember that number? That's 14. Should we mark it? No. Do you remember this number? That's number 10. Should we mark that? No. And what about that one? Okay, that's an 18. Okay, we're going to do that next time. And here we have what number? That's a 12. And this one? 14. And what's that number again? Is that the same? Yes, that's number 15. Let's put a mark on there. And what about this one? That's number 11. And how about this? Is that the number we're looking for? Yes, that's number 15. So let's put a mark on there. Come down to our next row. This is the number 16. Okay, we're going to do that on our next paper. How about this one? That's a 10. Remember that number? 12. What is that? 15. Very good. Put a mark on there. And remember this number? Well, we're going to learn that number next week. That's a 17. Okay, 17. How about this one? That's 13. Should we mark it? No. What about this one? 15. That's the number we're looking for. Number 15. So put a mark on there. And this is what number? 17. Okay, we didn't get to that yet. And that's going to be 19 and 16. Okay, so we're looking for the number 15. Let's see how many we found. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now I'm going to take this one off. And the other number that we're doing today is the other number we were working with this week. Remember what number that is? That's number 16. Number 16 is a 1 and a 6. The 15 was a 1 and a 5. 16 is 1 and a 6. So let's count the sunflowers together. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so that's the 16, a 1 and a 6. So I'll put this up here, and we're going to do the number search for the number 16. Okay, so I'll put this right here, and now we're going to use a dotter again, if you have a dotter, or you could use a crayon, whichever. Okay, either one is fine with me. It's up to you, whichever you want to do. So now we're looking for the number 16. Okay, numbers a 1 and a 6. So let's go across the first row together. Okay, is this a number 16? No, that's an 11. What about that? Is that the same number? Yes, that's a 16. So let's mark the 16. Remember that one? That's the one we just did. That's a 15. Should we mark it? No. What is this number? 16. So let's put a mark on there. Okay, and is that a 16? No, that's the number 12. Should we mark it? No. Come down to the next row. Is that a number 16? Is that the number we're looking for? Yes. Put a mark on here. Our next one, that's number 18. We're going to be looking for that next week. And do you remember this number? That's a 14. Should we put a mark on it? No. What about that one? Do you remember that number? That's number 10. Should we mark it? No. How about that? What number is that? 16. Good. Put a mark on it. Come down to our next row. We have what number? That's a 12. Go across. Does that look the same? Yes, that's number 16. Let's make a mark on it. And here we have a 14, 11, 15. Should we mark it? No. Come down again. Here we have, what number is this? 16. Good. Put a mark on it. And then we have 10. And there's that number again. What number is that? 16. Put a mark on it. And you remember this number? That's a 12. This is 17. We're going to do that next week. 13. Oh, this is a tricky one. Is that the same? No, this is a 19. Remember, the 9 has the opening on the top. The 6 has the opening on the bottom, so we don't want to mark that one. How about this? That's 17. And there it is again. 16. And there we have number 18. All right, so what number are we working with here? This is the number 16. Let's see how many 16s we found. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so this week we were working with 2 new numbers. And the numbers we were working with this week are numbers 15, which is a 1 and a 5, and the number 16, which is a 1 and a 6. Now next week we're going to be doing 2 more new numbers, okay?